Welcome to the Open to Hope Show. I'm your host, Dr. Gloria Horsley, with my daughter and co-host,
Dr. Heidi Horsley.
Well, Heidi, we have got a guest on that we've had on our TV show in Arizona, right?
Yes, we do, Mom. And we are going to talk today about Afterlife, Children and Spirit, which is an interesting topic and people love it. How do we stay connected to our kids after they've died and our siblings? And how are they still in our lives and still present in our lives?
I love it. I love it. So let's introduce our guest right away so we can get started, because this, I know, is a topic that everybody's very interested in.
Absolutely. So our guest today is Elizabeth Boisson, and she is no stranger to loss, Mom. She's had 2 children die. Her daughter, Chelsea, died at 2 days old, and her son, Morgan, was 20 years old, and he died in 2009 at the base camp at Mount Everest in Tibet. She has gone on to co-found Helping Parents Heal, and she is the president, and she started it in 2012, and we'll be talking today about what she's done with that. So welcome to the show, Elizabeth.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
So great to have you on and to see you again. One thing that Heidi didn't mention is that you're a yoga instructor, and I think that's one of the things that makes you so energetic here.
Yes. Yoga and grief.
My daughter passed when she was 2 days old in France. I had had a very difficult pregnancy, and then when I did have my daughter, her lungs were crushed because I lost my amniotic fluid and had her for a week. And anyway, it was very difficult, but Morgan was 2 at the time. And what pulled me through at the time was the fact that I was able to come home to Morgan. And when Morgan passed at the base camp of Mount Everest, he had been studying in Nanjing with the University of Arizona, and he went with 13 other students from Lhasa, which was 11,000 feet, up to the 19,000 feet high base camp of Mount Everest. And unfortunately, all of the kids got very, very sick because they went way too quickly. You have to do this the same way that when you're scuba diving, you go down in depth very slowly. You have to do the same thing going up, and they didn't. So they were all very disoriented. He had a very hard time throwing up. The other kids were as well. He got up in the night and he was wandering around very disoriented and calling kids by their wrong names, but no one understood because they were also disoriented. At 9 o'clock in the morning, he was still asleep. So one of the kids tried to wake him up and couldn't. He called his mom, and his mom is a doctor, and she said, get him down in altitude right away. So they had to pick this kid who was 280 pounds and 6'6", up the 13 of them and load them onto the bus. And these poor kids, they had no idea of how to really handle the situation, but they tried to get him down in altitude. He stopped breathing, so they took him off the bus, and they were doing CPR. And I luckily had the number of one of his roommates and called him, and his roommate told me, it doesn't look good, Miss Boisson. I don't think he's going to survive. And I asked him to put the phone to his ear. And I told him that we loved him, that we were proud of him, and not to be afraid. And at that moment, I felt him hug me. And from then on, I've known that he's with me. And it was a beautiful moment, in spite of the fact that it was one of the most tragic that I've ever had to live through. One of the things that I do every day is that I post a tribute for the children for their birthday and for the angel date. And so I have pictures of all of the kids, and I also have information about their lives. And I do that. I've done that ever since the week after Morgan passed. Every child is cataloged, and I make sure that I post it every morning. So that's one of the things that we do, as well as the affiliate groups that we have around the country. We also have a newsletter every month that comes out that I publish. And then we also have an online group that has Zoom meetings with some fabulous speakers that everyone, wherever they have internet, can join.
Those are speakers that are talking about the afterlife and connection.
Yes, we have some amazing experts in the afterlife field, such as Dr. Evan Alexander, who's spoken to our group, as well as many other psychic mediums. We have counselors, we have people who are experts in near-death experiences. We also have healers. We have a lot of different energy healers who come on, who actually are able to do healings to the Zoom groups.
There's so many people that have these stories, aren't there, that they just don't get told. People don't talk about them. And I think in some ways, I had a dream about my son early on that was very healing for me, and it was more of a presence. And Heidi had an experience when she was on Outward Bound with her brother. And I think, I'm not sure if it's skeptical of other people, but I think there's also kind of a sacred quality to these stories.
I think that the most important thing is that you don't share them with anyone who doesn't share your point of view, because unless they understand what you're going through, they'll probably poo-poo them and make you feel unsure about whether they have actually happened. And that's why our group is a safe place to be able to talk about these things. And sometimes people don't even realize that these signs and validations are coming. Obviously, there are lots of different things. I'm looking out there, dragonflies flying around right now, you know, dragonflies as well as butterflies, as well as sequences of numbers on license plates or different words on license plates that you can look for that sometimes you're not looking for because you're pretty deep in your grief. But if you do open your mind to this, all of a sudden, the world is your oyster, and it's very exciting.
So Elizabeth,
but you're right.
I know you're very. I know that you're very attached to Morgan, and that you're very connected. Do you, which I love. Do you feel as connected to Chelsea?
Well, you know, with Chelsea, I think that Chelsea has been with me this whole time, and she's the one that actually let me connect to Morgan in the very beginning. I say this because of the fact that I think that people feel like it's kind of unfair that I had that quick connection with Morgan. Why did it work so quickly with me and not with, you know, not with everyone? But I think that I already had 1 foot here and 1 foot over there with her from the time that she passed, and that helped me to connect with Morgan after.
And did you, it sounds like you were open and aware of what was going on with Morgan. With Chelsea, I know it was a new thing. Were you did you realize that you were connecting, or did it take a longer time to realize that she was still connected to you?
No, I really wasn't. It wasn't the same way at all. And I think that it was more like a lot of people experience early on. But as soon as I connected with Morgan, the first time that actually a psychic medium connected with Morgan, she told me without knowing that his sister was there with him. And she was beautiful. She was a little bit younger than he was, and she described her. And so ever since then, the connection with both Morgan and Chelsea has been very strong.
I love that. And if people are out there and they want to connect more and in bigger ways, or want to connect at all with people that have passed, it sounds like you just have to be more open to looking at the signs, right, that are around you?
It's very easy. I mean, one of the things that's just incredibly easy is closing your eyes and feeling your children hug you. And, you know, for our meetings, when I sit in a meeting and we have all of the parents sharing the validations that they've had from their children, I can actually kind of close my eyes halfway and see the kids hugging their parents around their necks. And they're always with us in those meetings. And I think that the important thing is that not one child isn't with their parent. They're all with us. They're all cheering us on from the other side. They are home and we're still in school. So we're still learning things here. But they are also, whenever we need them, they're with us. They share in every single important event in our lives. They don't miss out on anything. And so if you just allow yourselves to realize that they are in a fabulous place, that they've connected with all of these other incredible kids. I mean, there's so many incredible kids that are all hanging out together. It makes this journey for us a lot easier.
So tell us, I know you're growing tremendously, and you've got different groups around the United States. How many have you got now?
Well, we have over 50 affiliate groups, and we have, as I say, the online group, which is wonderful because they reach everyone that needs to have a group that isn't in a physical location that the groups are located in. Um, but we also have um, another group that's called Helping Siblings Heal, and that is growing as well. In the main Facebook group, we have almost 12,000 people who are signed up for the Facebook group. Um, but I think that, you know, it's hard to tell how many people aren't on Facebook because not everyone really has an easy time with Facebook. Facebook is sometimes very confusing. So we have people who attend the meetings who don't necessarily belong to Facebook, and that's also fine.
Now, I know some people are watching this and wondering, do you have people come in that try to exploit the bereaved? Have you had any issues with that, or are things going pretty well on that front?
I don't think that we have, but you know, it's interesting because I have been told in the past that our kids are running interference. They're very careful with all of the people that come in contact with the group, and I think that they're directing things as much over there or more than we are from over here.
I love it. Well, tell us about your conference that's coming up. I know it's not going to be until 2020, but you know, people need to save their money and think about it and go on your site and get to know this organization. So tell us about your conference coming up.
Well, thank you. I'm really excited about it. We had a conference in Scottsdale in April of 2018, and we had 500 parents come, and everyone was so excited and happy that the hotel was kind of wondering about the fact that it was a conference for bereaved parents. They just were surprised about that, but we had our kids right there with us. This conference should be about 1,000 people. It'll be in Charleston in 2020 from the 16th to the 19th of April. And we're hoping that you guys will come, obviously. It'll be a wonderful healing event and very uplifting as well. And Irene Vuvalidis, who was the director for our conference in 2018, will also be the director for this conference, and she's incredibly capable and very good about what she's doing. So we're excited.
Yeah, you have some incredible people coming to this conference too, some pretty prestigious people in the fields.
Yes, we do, and we feel very grateful. And I was going to say, first of all, Suzanne Giesman is going to be our main keynote speaker. She's going to be the person who opens the conference. She was also a speaker at our first conference. Suzanne Wilson as well will be a keynote speaker. We have some new people who will be coming to the conference this time, and we're very excited about it, who have also, some of them have already spoken to our online group, like Dr. Eben Alexander, Dr. Mary Neal, who is also someone who's an expert in the field of near-death experiences as Dr. Eben Alexander is, but Jeffrey Olson as well, who is an expert in the field of near-death experiences. But what sets both of them apart is that they both have had a child pass in the same way that we have, which is really meaningful to us. We have David Kessler as well, who you probably are familiar with. We're very excited. He's spoken to our online group as well, and we're very grateful. Mark Anthony, as well as Maureen Hancock, Jake Samoyedny, who was at our first conference. Kat Bailey is a psychic medium who's actually incredible, very, very gifted, and she's the UK affiliate leader. She's going to be speaking at the conference as well with other healers, Rick Olson and his wife, as well as David Rauter. We have other psychic mediums who will be there, such as Jamie Clark, Christine Salter, and Tina Powers.
Thank you so much for all the work you're doing. Tell people how to find your site.
Okay, wonderful. So it's Helping Parents Heal. So it's www.helpingparentsheal.org, and it's all spelled out. And we also are on Facebook. Helping Parents Heal, and lots of different local affiliate groups are on there. So there's Helping Parents Heal Tampa, Helping Parents Heal, if you type it in, you'll see a lot of different locations. We also have our online group, so Helping Parents Heal Online. And if you go to our page, you can sign up for the newsletter by just clicking on the main page, and that would be wonderful as well.
Well, thank you so much for being on today. You're such an inspiration, and we always enjoy you.
Thank you. I feel very grateful to be here. And you guys are truly bright lights for doing everything that you're doing to help parents heal. I appreciate it. And it's been wonderful to talk to you.
Thanks, Elizabeth. We look forward to going to the conference, and thank you for all you're doing out there for all of those that, have lost hope. And I would also say, if anyone out there is not a believer, I would read Dr. Evan Alexander's book, because it's pretty remarkable.
Thanks everybody for watching this show today, and please let your friends and family know about Open to Hope and also about the upcoming conference. And Heidi and I always want to remind you, and I'm sure Elizabeth does too, that if you lost hope, please lean on ours till you find your own, and God bless.